course, the great Ray Kurzweil at Singularity Institute, a somewhat popularized and an amazing futurist for those that don't know, the terminology singularity. Now, I'm maybe going back a little bit now to artificial intelligence, but maybe again, in 30, 60 seconds, explain to our audience what singularity means to you.
Sure. Well, singularity is this awesome concept, and I like to just give a little anecdote to it. It's where a 5-second period in history will be more complex and more will happen in it than the entire 14 billion years ahead of it. Basically, we have 3 pounds of meat on top of our shoulders. That's what our brains are, about 3 pounds. And there's a certain amount of computational power in that, but it's very limited. Well, a singularity is when all the technology of the world keeps evolving until the point when the artificial intelligence has more computational power than the human being, and then continues to evolve to maybe 1,000,000 times us. And when we get to that point, we call it the singularity because human understanding can no longer even comprehend that type of sophisticated thought or intelligence. And that's the singularity, when it's so beyond human comprehension. And yet, of course, it keeps expanding. Naturally, just like the microchip keeps getting smaller and faster, well, that's what's happening with technology. At some point, it's getting smarter, greater, and at some point, it just sort of becomes this all-expansive thing. And again, that's what most experts would say is the singularity.
Do you think we'll reach singularity in our normal lifetime or lifespan?
Well, this is a very tough question. I think this is when Congress will step in. If Congress steps in, it will probably say no, because you have to understand the singularity is like this incredible experience. We might one day create something that could be almost the equivalent of God in intelligence, just so much smarter than us. And I think the human race and America and countries will have to ask themselves, is that a world we want? Especially if only one intelligence goes there, and humans may not even be connected to that intelligence. So this is like when Elon Musk last week or 2 weeks ago created this company of neural prosthetics where they can connect their brains to computers. Nobody wants to let artificial intelligence run wild. We all want to be connected to it so that we're almost one with it. If it goes to the singularity, the human race goes through, or at least a few humans go through. And I think, so the real question with the singularity is, if it happens, it's because I guess all the governments of the world have gotten together and said, wow, we're about 24 months from creating a machine that may have an intelligence explosion like we've never witnessed and we won't understand. And you're going to have to ask yourself, is that a national security issue? I consult with the U.S. Navy, and there's no way they're going to allow that to happen. That's like inviting a super powerful alien to planet Earth. I think there are some things that the United States government and governments around the world, as well as experts, will step in and say, that's too much. I've said this before, if the singularity happens, which country goes through it first? Which citizens go through it? It's a very thorny question. So, but it's also very fun for philosophers to grapple with.